This is Chapter 16, Module 1, Introduction to the Autonomic Nervous System. The learning objectives of this module are 1. Contrast the differences in function and structure between the somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system, and 2. Describe the basic structures and functions of the autonomic nervous system. When the brain sends commands to effectors of the body, these commands will travel either through the motor pathways of the somatic nervous system or the autonomic nervous system. Both the somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system carry these commands from the central nervous system to various target tissues in the body. There are several differences between the somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. The somatic nervous system originates in the primary motor cortex of the cerebrum. The initial neurons carrying their commands are called upper motor neurons. These upper motor neurons extend to the brainstem or to the spinal cord, where they will synapse on another neuron called the lower motor neuron. This lower motor neuron exits the central nervous system and synapses on skeletal muscles. The effectors for the somatic nervous system, then, are skeletal muscles. The autonomic nervous system originates in the hypothalamus of the diencephalon. The initial neurons carrying their commands descend to the brainstem or to the spinal cord, and they synapse on neurons called preganglionic neurons. The preganglionic neurons exit the central nervous system and synapse on another neuron called the postganglionic neuron. This postganglionic neuron extends to the corresponding visceral effectors that include smooth muscles, glands, cardiac muscle, and adipocytes. The autonomic nervous system operates outside of our awareness. It has two divisions, the sympathetic division and the parasympathetic division. The sympathetic division causes increased alertness, increased metabolic activity, and increased muscular abilities when activated. It will only become activated or kick in during exertion, stress, or an emergency. Because of this, the sympathetic division is referred to as the fight-or-flight division of the autonomic nervous system. The parasympathetic division reduces metabolic rate and promotes digestion when it is activated. It will become activated during resting conditions and is thus called the rest and digest division of the autonomic nervous system. These two divisions have opposing effects, so when one is activated, the other is not. Also, while the heart and most of the glands and smooth muscles receive both sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve supply, they will never be activating the effectors at the same time. It wouldn't make sense if the sympathetic nervous system was stimulating the heart to beat faster, while at the same time the parasympathetic nervous system was stimulating the heart to slow its heart rate. Some structures of the body are only innervated by one division of the autonomic nervous system. For example, the sweat glands of the skin are only innervated by the sympathetic nervous system, so when the fight-or-flight response kicks in, the sweat glands activate. The sweat glands are not activated by the parasympathetic rest and digest response, so if the sympathetic nervous system is not activated, the sweat glands merely do not secrete sweat. At times, these two divisions are called to work together, with each controlling one stage of a complex process. For example, parasympathetic nervous system activation is required to cause sexual excitement, whereas sympathetic nervous system activation is required to cause ejaculation of semen or orgasm. This ends Chapter 16, Module 1, Introduction to the Autonomic Nervous System.